amegundua anaweza kuwa whatever she wants. Kwani kuliendaje? Maparu wa Miriam waligeta huge discount vile wale upgrade to GoTV Max. Hata wewe, familia yako wanaweza get maximum entertainment for less. Upgrade to GoTV Max for just 890 shillings leo. GoTV, love it.
Feeling on a success, nafunga hard. Nairobi City tunaira. Feeling on a success, Nairobi City.
Hey, what's up? It's your girl Amina. This Friday on The Trend, DJ's battling it out. DJ E and the one and only DJ Joe Mfalme. The beautiful and talented Sanai Pay.
Because of what your mother did.
I went into labor from Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, alone in the house with my toddler by my side. He came out, he slapped me, rolled me down the stairs and asked me to leave.
With the children there watching?
Yes. That was the lowest place I have ever been.
Join Grace Msalame this Saturday from 8 p.m.
For all your personal and business banking needs, SMS GROW to 0708 000 111. UAP Old Mutual. We've got you covered. Doing great things every day.
As a news director, you also need to put a lot of consideration when it comes to preventing the spread of the coronavirus, especially here in the all right. Yes, and I think that's what I learned. When you do get a sneeze or you feel like coughing, take a tissue paper, put it on your mouth and in front of your nose and sneeze into it, then roll it down and throw it in a trash can.
Despite the setback and challenges, George was determined and founded Agri-Tech Organic Farm Company na bado anakiuka nayo, which means going beyond and breaking barriers.
So kazi yenye tunafanya hapa ni ukulima wa wadudu na worms and insects. Now what we have here is now the ready vermicompost.
Mbona hii soil iko wet?
The reason as to why it's wet because when we are feeding tunazipea mbolea ya ng'ombe yenye ni moist kiasi. At times it might be a challenge ukishake pole pole. Worms zitaenda chini. So it requires you move very fast.
And when it comes to organic farming, tunaweza kiukaje na ni benefit gani hizi vitu zinatuletea?
Tumekuwa tukitumia chemicals here and there, and this has led into a challenge of food security. But now when we come into organic farming, first we work from the soil up to the plant.
Tuzidi na Hustle in association with Safaricom. New year comes with new year deals. Renew your corporate subscription and get a bonus. Subscribe to Nation e-paper for 3 months and get 1 week absolutely free. 6 months and get 2 weeks absolutely free. 1 year and get 3 weeks absolutely free. To sign up, visit epaper.nationmedia.com or email subscription@ke.nationmedia.com. Offer valid till 28th February 2021.
Ugandans now have a new president. Kindly note There's a difference between a new president and a new president. America has a new president. Uganda has a new president. A new Museveni is going to take this thing. There is a vaccine for cholera.
Yes, there is a vaccine for cholera.
Thank you. Now, for me, when you mention there's a vaccine for cholera, what comes to my mind is the science of how it works. Come on, brake pads.
Come on, brake pads.
Beat sensitivity pain fast with Sensodyne Rapid Action for clinically proven relief in 60 seconds.
You have worked so hard. Now your project is nearing completion. You now need to crown your labor. For over 50 years, East African Cables has been a premier manufacturer of high-quality electrical cables, manufactured to international standards for the region, giving you the reliability and safety you deserve. We manufacture an extensive range of power cables for applications in domestic and industrial wiring. Our work speaks for itself. Get in touch. Let's talk cables. Kumbuka, wire see wire. East African Cables, connecting lives.
This is NTV.
Afternoon. My name is Olive Burrows and you're right on time for NTV at 1. With me this afternoon, we have Dan Mwangi at the Sarit Center, and we'll have Bridget Ngana in Nakuru County, where the regional commissioner is expected to address the escalating security situation in West Pokot. We'll be hearing from them shortly, but let's start with that story that Bridget Ngana is keeping an eye on. A chief inspector and a police constable are the latest victims in the ongoing fighting in Kapedo, Turkana East sub-county. The two were part of a convoy that was getting supplies for their base when they were ambushed at a bridge. A civilian who had hitched a ride with the officers managed to escape. The killing of the two officers comes at a time when the government says it's leading an operation in the area to flush out the bandits. Here is a report filed by Bridget on that very subject.
A bullet-riddled Land Cruiser, evidence of the intense exchange as a chief inspector in charge of the RDU and GSU camps in Lomelo, his driver, and a civilian were ambushed. Bandits laid siege on their convoy as they crossed a bridge on their way to Kapedo. This latest attack brings to 4 the total number of security officers killed in the past 3 weeks. Parts of Tiati constituency and Kapedo in Turkana East have since become the focal point of a security operation targeting bandits who have for decades run amok. With the state of insecurity now, schools have been shut with residents living in fear, unable to access basic amenities. The bandits seem to enjoy some protection from local leaders, but the security officials have a stern warning: they should not get comfortable.
They misinterpret dialogue to mean that the government is weak. And our dialogue is conditional. Can you bring all these killers? Because they know the killers, they come from those communities. Can you bring the illicit firearms? Because almost every family has got a firearm. Can we respect other people's property? That if you want to have pasture in Turkana or Samburu or Laikipia, go and negotiate.
On Thursday, Tiati Member of Parliament William Kamket was questioned for 6 hours by investigators at the Kileleshwa police station. He is expected to present himself to the Rift Valley DCI officers in Nakuru on Tuesday next week. A day before his interrogation, the MP had this to say.
I want to appeal to the President to consider de-escalating the situation. We have not been invited as leaders to come and dialogue.
The Rift Valley Regional Commissioner, however, had this warning to lawmakers turned lawbreakers.
We also want the leaders of that particular area that the CS was referring to, either to surrender to the authorities immediately, or we'll get them from wherever they are. I don't have even to name their names because they know themselves. Let them come out so that we process them. They tell us what they've been doing, because we have substantial information about some of the things that they've been doing. And they cannot act primitive when they're in Kapedo and then act sophisticated when they're in Nakuru. We will not take it.
Despite the loss of 4 officers and 5 residents in the last weeks, the government remains confident that this operation will restore calm in Kapedo, Tiati, Lomelo and Nadome, which have come to be known as a rustler's paradise. Bridget Ngana, NTV, Nakuru.
Bridget, as I said, Bridget Ngana is joining us live from Nakuru, where the Regional Commissioner George Natembeya is expected to address the situation, the insecurity in Kapedo. Bridget, what do you expect him to say? Do you have any indication of what they intend to do that they have not already done to stop first the targeting of police officers and also to stop the killing of civilians?
Well, Olive, Thursday's attack remains a mystery as at now for the journalists covering that development. But it is an attack that happened last evening, as I have mentioned in the story. But right now, we do expect the Regional Commissioner, George Natembeya, to issue a briefing sometime this afternoon as from 2 p.m. We do expect him to give us a conclusive update on what is happening in Kapedo. It's an operation that began sometime on Monday evening, but officially in Baringo Tiati, it began on Tuesday. As of now, we do understand that only 1 bandit has been killed in the engagements between security officials and the militia who are running amok in that area. We do also expect to interrogate the Regional Commissioner on the humanitarian situation right now. The residents in Kapedo and Turkana counties, rather, where the operation is ongoing, say that they have been marooned. They do not have access to basic amenities. Issues to do with food, transport is also at a standstill. We have had some of the leaders also speak about that scenario. William Kamket, the Tiati Member of Parliament, is one of the leaders who has already been earmarked or has already been seen coming out in public to be interrogated about what is going on in Tiati. What we do understand from our sources is that the government really wants to ensure that Kapedo and the entire area of Turkana East comes back to normalcy or has normal activities going on. As we speak, Olive, children are not going to school, businesses have been shut down, food is really going into short supply, people cannot access water. It is an arid area, so even going to the river to fetch water is a problem for the residents there. So this is a very, very critical time for residents and people living in that part of this country. And we do hope the Regional Commissioner will also address the issue, as much as they say that the government is protecting the human rights of people living there and also the bandits as they go out to flush them out and also get rid of the illegal guns in that area, which has been a problem. We have covered this in previous stories about the prevalence of illegal guns in that area, and this is also an operation that is going on in tandem with that. They say the place is insecure and that's why the residents are resolving to have illegal firearms, but the government is saying even as they pursue these bandits who have been killing police officers, they will also go hand in hand and speak with the families of the residents of that place to give them these illegal firearms. We do expect to engage the Regional Commissioner on this issue and also what they're doing to alleviate the suffering of the residents in that area. That is expected sometime this afternoon, and we'll have conclusive answers in our subsequent stories at 7 p.m. and 9 p.m.
Thank you, Bridget. Now, the killing of 9 people over the last few days in Kapedo adds to the tally that dates back over decades of clashes between neighboring communities. Tucked between Baringo and Turkana counties, the small sleepy town hits the headlines every year with cases of insecurity which follow the same pattern. Residents are left homeless, destitute, and having to pick up their lives before the cycle begins all over again. Leila Mohammed looks into the possible reasons why violence has become a constant feature in that town.
The latest flare-up of attacks inside Kapedo has brought panic among the residents of this rather sleepy town once more. News of the deaths of 9 people, including 4 security officials, isn't making the situation any better. The government has sought to alleviate their fears by sending in more boats on the ground to try and contain an issue that keeps recurring. Many in the community seek a permanent end to the bloodletting and a lasting peace that at the moment seems like a mirage. But while government puts up an assault to curtail bandits, many here say that in order to get lasting peace, the state needs to look into the history and correct the underlying issues, or else the past will always haunt them.
Can you bring all these killers? Because they know the killers, they come from those communities.
One of the many burning issues, according to the residents, is the exact location on the map where the small town lies. It is still a bone of contention if Kapedo is in Turkana or Baringo County.
Mpaka iko ya mzungu ambaye aliweka tangu ukoloni. So hata ukija na GPS unaweza kuset kutoka Kapedo upatikane, inaonyesha mpaka Maia.
Other opinions differ, as some have rejected the boundary dispute argument behind the Kapedo clashes and blamed them on increasing possession of illegal firearms, poverty and illiteracy.
Those people in Kapedo nurse pain and suffering for themselves. When they undergo merciful cold killing, nobody responds.
The disputed Kapedo border area is 18 kilometers in radius and contains valuable natural resources and minerals. Geothermal power generation is ongoing. A little known fact about Kapedo is that it is home to lush green pastures, rich for grazing, as well as the land where water falls all year round. The perfect oasis in a rather tough region. In the last decade, neighboring communities have tried to conquer that territory, turning it into a battlefield. Besides the border disputes, a new frontier of contestation has emerged to fuel the conflict. The successful oil prospecting missions and a proposed geothermal power plant have increased the appetite of ownership from both sides. According to many in the region, literature written on the possible reasons for frequent attacks in the region emphasize on mainly ecological rather than cultural factors.
Tunatafuta suluhisho ya shida ambayo imekera eneo hili. Na tunatafuta suluhisho hii tukijua kuwa sehemu zingine zote za ujirani tumeweza kuanzisha mpango wa kutafuta amani na umefaulu kwa miaka mingi.
So I'm calling upon the IPC. Because as in Baringo, that Kapedo is in Baringo. And when you get to Turkana, Turkana are saying it is in Turkana. So we wish that the IPC should come on board.
Another school of thought notes that after undergoing a rite of passage, young boys turn into men, and thus the need to raid for herds of animals is another rite of passage into adulthood. While peace that seems elusive is being sought, many still believe that deep-rooted politics also affects how Kapedo remains ungovernable and wild. Leila Mohammed, NTV.
Away from matters in security, COVID-19 has disrupted education as we know it, having some jobs forcing some jobs into oblivion, and this has necessitated a growing focus of the labor market, agility and multi-skilling as learners look forward to working in an environment with new realities. What does this look like? Well, our very own Dan Mwangi is attending a career fair in Nairobi and joins us with more details on this. Dan, COVID-19 has rendered a lot of people redundant. What are some of the suggestions that have come out of the conversations you've been listening to?
Well, Olive, one of the things is, adapt, or, you just miss out on it, because things are changing, and if you don't stay in step with the changes, you're going to be left behind. And so that's a lot of what is being said here, because a lot of emphasis and explanations on how tech is dynamically changing. The digital space is becoming more active and needs a lot more investment, and just people to be more open-minded. And so this here is the Nation Media Group's higher education and career fair, which is happening at the Sarit Center in Nairobi, like you rightly said, in Westlands, happening today and tomorrow. This is happening from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Both days. And so we had a session in the morning, earlier in the morning, to talk about the digital growth in the digital space amid the pandemic and the post-pandemic futures. We wait for it. And we also have an afternoon session which is about the careers of the future, some of the unconventional ones when it comes to the creative space and the likes. And we'll be having a very insightful conversation that shall be streaming on our social media platforms. So here we are, I'm somewhere in the middle of an exhibition hall where we've got different institutions that have set up their stands and are giving members of the public who come and visit the place different sets of information in regards to what they're offering, coming from schools that are, universities, technical colleges. We also have other institutions that are also bringing together, rather informing people of what exactly they offer and what the options are. Especially one of the things now many may be wondering is, how do we actually get to access this education, but at a subsidized cost? We could even see professional courses, institutions that offer professional courses also on location, just to ensure that when you come here and you want to know what you want to do and what options you have, then you can actually, get some information on that. Even if you want to study abroad, you still have that option here. So there's a lot, it's a whole cocktail of options here at the Sarit Center. If you want to study in Malaysia, if you want to go to Western Kenya, where we have the Masinde Muliro University of Science and Tech, there's a lot that you can learn from here. And we also have the St. John Ambulance who are here as well. They've also set up here, and maybe we'll just get the gist of what, if one came to this booth to inquire what they would like, maybe they would want to know what exactly happens around here, and maybe introduce yourself to us and just tell us what should we expect, what would one expect when they come here to your stand.
Hi, my name is Gasheri, and I'm a communications executive at St. John Ambulance. When someone comes to our booth, basically we're going to provide them with information about what exactly St. John Ambulance does, the trainings that we offer, and of course also our ambulance packages. Okay.
And so we are seeing some of this, the first aid kits and the different ones. And the concern, do many people really appreciate the value of this? Because like you're saying, the information is power, and many people don't usually appreciate this. Are we seeing more people getting themselves first aid kits and the likes?
Actually, a first aid kit is one of the most basic things that every home and every person should have. Our kits, we usually have different types of them. Well, frankly speaking, not very many people actually appreciate the importance of this. And for you to actually be able to use a first aid kit effectively, you actually need to be equipped with the skills. So at St. John Ambulance, we usually offer such trainings in things like first aid, so that you're actually able to acquire the skills to be able to use the kit.
Thank you very much, Gasheri, for that. That's something that you can expect here at the, I nearly said the first aid at St. John's. I think my memory needs some first aid. Nonetheless, we've got many other exhibitors across the floor, and they have got a lot to offer, be it the booklets, the technology options they have, as well as those who even provide food, for instance. Beg your pardon. So we've got Premier Food Industries as well. So Olive, there's many options here that you can have in regards to if you want to know what you can get offered. Sorry, I'm choking. Nonetheless, I'll hand you back to Olive as we get to see what other options we have here at the Sarit Center.
All right, thank you, Dan. Be sure to drink some water, but you have said a lot, and thank you for keeping us up to date on that My Network Career Fair taking place at the Sarit Center. If you have some time, do stop by there. All right, to take a break, we'll be back before you know it.
Sasa tuko na successful bidder.
Majina ni Esther Mudhoni Derito kutoka Nakuru County.
Ni namba gani ya shini na unique ulitumia kununua hii duthi?
Nilitumia 1488.
Uko na hiyo pesa? Leta. Wow. Hapa takurudishia 22 shillings Haya, kamata, hii ndio receipt yako ya duthi, alafu hii ndio kifunguo yako. Swali ni je, how low can you go? Unaweza enda chini mpaka wapi? Bid, bid, bid now.
Maji, mdosi wangu ametupa simu yangu ndani ya maji.
Mdosi wako kwa sawa? Venye Nkirota ameniambia ajui, na akimpigia simu ashiki. Hi guy, what the?
For the women who deserve more, Moped is now in Kenya and more than 40 countries. With its nylon-free surface, new Moped has unique softness and up to 100% protection. Your skin will love it.
You have worked so hard. Now your project is nearing completion. You now need to crown your labor. For over 50 years, East African Cables has been a premier manufacturer of high-quality electrical cables, manufactured to international standards for the region, giving you the reliability and safety you deserve. We manufacture an extensive range of power cables for applications in domestic and industrial wiring. Our work speaks for itself. Get in touch. Let's talk cables. Kumbuka, wire see wire. East African Cables, connecting lives.
Thank you for staying with us on NTV at 1. Now, as Kenyans await the COVID-19 vaccine expected in 2 months through a partnership with the United Kingdom, the international community is taking measures to protect itself from a second variant that has been detected. The UK has banned passengers from Tanzania and the Democratic Republic of Congo to control the spread of the South African COVID-19 variant. Anita Nkonge with those details.
The detected South African variant has raised concerns over the efficacy of vaccines that have begun rolling out across the globe. This is according to preliminary research that found the variant poses a significant risk of reinfection. Several other variants have been detected in recent weeks across the world, specifically in the United Kingdom and Brazil, that threaten immune responses regardless of whether one has been infected or vaccinated. The United Kingdom has already launched a vaccine rollout of the Oxford-AstraZeneca vaccine, with approximately 4.6 million people already having received the vaccine doses. Kenya is also set to benefit from a partnership to administer the vaccine, with the first few doses expected by April this year. The UK recently recorded their highest deaths to COVID-19 with 1,820 deaths in 24 hours. In America, President Joe Biden signed a series of new executive orders to curb the COVID-19 pandemic, including a vaccination campaign to administer 100 million shots of a COVID-19 vaccine in 100 days.
Our national plan launches a full-scale wartime effort to address the supply shortages by ramping up production and protective equipment, syringes, needles, you name it. And when I say wartime, people kind of look at me like wartime. Well, as I said last night, 400,000 Americans have died. That's more than have died in all of World War II.
The country will also see tighter travel bans to the U.S. and the safe reopening of schools. The Federal Center for Disease Control and Prevention said about 15 million people have received at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. 2.4 million people have already been fully vaccinated. The USA is the hardest hit country with over 410,000 deaths since the pandemic began. Currently, there are 2 million fatalities around the world with over 97.4 million infections and over 70 million recoveries recorded.
Staying with COVID-19, the Africa Director for the World Health Organization, Matshidiso Moeti, says that the WHO's COVAX program is aiming to deliver 600 million doses of COVID-19 vaccine to Africa by the end of 2021. Moeti also says that the second wave of the coronavirus is already stronger than the first, with 3.3 million people infected since the beginning of the pandemic.
The first epidemic peak in July was surpassed in December, and cases are continuing to accelerate at a significantly faster pace. I think we have a combination of factors, possibly fatigue with the measures, and then, of course, the festive season with its travel and gatherings. In Africa, COVAX is targeting phased delivery of 600 million doses by the end of 2021, and I'm sure we'll be hearing more from Tabani about this. This is based on 2 doses per person and is aimed to cover the initial 20% of the population in African countries. An initial 30 million doses are expected, and I say this with some caveats, to start arriving in countries by March. These are intended to prioritize healthcare workers and other high priority groups, and then expanding to cover additional vulnerable groups.
Away from matters COVID-19, women from Ngenda ward in Gatundu South have held demonstrations in protest of worsened uptake of killer alcohol in the area. The protest followed the death of 5 people from the vast ward who reportedly died after consuming the illicit brew laced with industrial chemicals. The women have complained over what they term as laxity by law enforcement authorities in curbing the consumption of the illicit brew. They say that if something is not urgently done, more deaths will continue to be witnessed in the area. The angry women claim that the age group of the middle-aged men is currently risking extinction after almost all youth in the area took to the outlawed substances to battle joblessness, desperation and depression. They said that men have been selling house appliances, farm produce and anything else that is sellable to make money.
Wana nickname kamtoto pombe na pangi iko juu. Ndatoka huku pila bwana, wanaume wako huku, nitoka Western juu ati nirudi Western juu ya pombe.
The county government of Makueni has started an operation to clear towns of roaming livestock. The exercise, which is led by the environment officer, sent a 7-day ultimatum to the owners of the livestock, after which the animals will be auctioned. More than 200 goats, cows, donkeys and sheep have been captured this far, with each cow and sheep attracting a fine of 200 shillings and 100 shillings respectively.
We have been having an issue of roaming animals for the last 2 years. We did mapping in Watertown to know the homes that have cattle. We also issued some improvement notice to the owners, and the owners also signed a commitment letter to remove the animals from town. It was important because this is a public nuisance, and it is also an environmental issue. We have issues like they cause accidents. We tackle it because we've already given them some improvement notice. They signed commitment letters to remove the cattle, but they have not done so. We are giving them 7 days. So after 7 days, we usually auction, but we are giving them 7 days to come and pick.
I wonder if that's what they call free-range cows, sheep and goats, since we have free-range chicken. Shareholders of industrial and medical gases manufacturer BOC Kenya PLC now have an extended period to consider the takeover bid by Carbacid and Axaya Investments, which was made public on the 25th of November 2020. Shareholders now have until February the 5th to consider the offer, an extension from the earlier deadline, which lapses on January the 25th. A statement from BOC Kenya states that the extended period is designed to to allow the independent advisor adequate time to undertake the valuation of the business. Additionally, the extended period is said to allow the board more time to consider the fairness opinion, which will be used to issue shareholders with a recommendation. BOC Kenya PLC was served with the takeover offer document on January the 6th, 2021. ABCD. Alphabet, the parent company of Google, has announced that it is shutting down Loon, the project to supply remote parts of the world with high-speed internet from balloons. Now, if that sounds familiar, you'll figure out why in a little bit. Well, the 9-year-old project failed in its quest to find a sustainable business model, and interestingly, the Kenyan government had entered a commercial agreement with Loon to provide connectivity to 8 towns in far-flung areas. The plan by Loon to reach underserved communities around the world with the internet was countered by governments seeking their own solutions to extend connectivity to the same areas through more conventional means. The end of Loon goes to show the limits of ambitious technological solutions, even when the financial backing to set them up is available in plenty. Let's now take a look at what's happening in the world of sports. And fourth-placed Wazito hope to climb up the ladder when they host Nzoia Sugar in the Football Kenya Federation Premier League this afternoon. Francis Kimanzi's men are looking to extend their streak to a 4-game winning run, having registered consecutive victories over City Stars, AFC Leopards and Bidco United. In the day's other fixture, Bandari will be away to Mathare United. The Dockers have seen former captain Feli Mulumba return from Zimbabwean side FC Platinum, though he will not be involved in today's match. The Mombasa-based side are currently 6th, while the Slum Boys are 17th on the log. Liverpool's 68-game unbeaten home run in the Premier League came to an end as Ashley Burns fired in a late winner from the penalty spot to secure a famous victory for Burnley. Burns was tripped in the box